Today's second video also about anime. I wonder if I'll have any subscribers left, because a lot of you are here for the video games and comic books, but what can we do? I just noticed that there's an attack on this particular industry. That's the only thing I have left. I don't like Marvel anymore. I don't like Disney. I don't like Netflix. So anime is the only thing that I got left to watch. And I see that it's being under heavy attack recently, on Twitter at least, but that's the only platform that matters for these cases. I do think it's mostly because certain anime companies have decided to cave in. We got Capcom, which is becoming more progressive. We got Square Enix that's following the line, so the attacks are intensifying. And I think it's important to make the arguments against the attacks, to draw a line in the sand this far no further and start gatekeeping. Because if you don't gatekeep, then you're not going to have a hobby. But anyway, right, so today's topic seems to be this Twitter message that was presented to me. It's very popular. Apparently, these romance anime tropes need to go. I haven't watched the video, I don't care. The simple fact that you think something needs to change and needs to go, I must disagree with it on principle. Just because you don't like certain things doesn't mean you should have the right to take it away from other people who like them. If people wouldn't like these things, they would disappear naturally. The market would not support them. Like, for example, woke games. People don't like them, they don't buy them. So Forspoken caused the entire studio to go out of a business. That's how the real world works, okay? That's if you actually like democracy. But you don't like democracy, you like fascismus. You like to have a couple of people in positions of power who don't even make anime, don't even create anime, but they should dictate what other people should and shouldn't watch. And I find that to be disturbing, especially when the West has a book written by Stephen King where there is a child orgy taking place, and that's a bestseller, and no one has a problem with that. That is a good book because it's written by America. George R.R. Martin has scenes involving non-consensual where dogs are doing it to an Arya lookalike, also underage. No one has a problem with that. Bestseller. So I find it very suspicious when people seem to ignore works of art that have sold far more than any anime ever could, but they are hyper-focused, laser-focused on the animes. And it's not only that, you know, like, for example, harassment. You don't like harassment, right? It's probably because, I guess, you know, monkey see, monkey do. Like, you see it in a anime, so then you have to reproduce it in real life. Redo of Healer is one of the most popular anime with women. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It is what it is. Like, if you look at the demographics, the creator himself came out. He also doesn't understand it. So the women that watch Redo of the Healer are going to harass me. Should I be worried? Like, if my wife likes it, should I not share a room with her anymore because I may get harassed? See, this is the nonsense that I think exists. It's like when you try to dictate what art should and shouldn't do. That's what communists did. Like in the Soviet Union, if you were an artist, you couldn't create whatever you wanted. Now, I just want to make sure that people understand. I'm not suggesting you should watch these animes. Like, by all means, if you think that an anime is too degenerate or has some things that you don't like, by all means, don't watch it and tell other people to stay away from that anime. Like, that's fair. You know, if you have children, don't let them watch Redo of Healer. Like, I fully support that, by the way. I want people to understand, just because I don't want something banned, just because I don't like something, doesn't mean I don't want it to exist. Like, for example, I personally don't like butsieks, okay? Like, I do not like if someone would put it in my tushy. I also wouldn't like seeing someone doing it, but I don't want to ban it from society. And yet this is the mentality that I constantly see online, and it's the arrogance of it as well. It's like a Westerner telling a Japanese person who happens to live across the world what they can and can't create. That's what really bothers me about it. Because if it was the other way around, if a Japanese person told R.R. Martin what he can and can't write, they would freak out. Especially when they used to love Harry Potter. You know, there was a time when they loved Harry Potter. Imagine if A Middle Eastern country would freak out, oh, like Harry Potter has a lot of magic in it. We don't like magic, we don't support that. We're religious folk, remove it, because it's corrupting our youth. And then if J.K. Rowling would actually start removing magic from the fucking thing, wouldn't you be upset? You'd probably be a little bit upset, wouldn't you? Back when you actually liked J.K. Rowling, because now, it's really interesting. You go on Twitter, and everyone talks in World War II and Marvel movies. Like, that's the only references that they have, but it used to be World War II, Marvel movies, and Harry Potter. Oh my god, you're like Voldemort. You're literally like Voldemort. They don't mention Harry Potter anymore. But it's like my point, like if it's something you like, and you're advocating for the censorship of something you don't like, when you create the systems of censorship, they will eventually come for the things you like. Because what ends up happening is, for censorship to take place, like, okay, you don't want some anime tropes in your... Fine. Okay. What this means is that they will have to hire someone as intelligent as this lady to decide if the anime is offensive or not. That's literally how corporations do things. Like, that's how it works, okay? They will hire, in the West, it's a diversity lady. Square Enix calls it an ethics department. I think that China also has a name for their censors. If you want to make a movie that sells in China, you have to work with them. But basically, whatever the name is, they do the same stuff. They censor. Like, they will look at the anime and they will say, this goes in, this doesn't go in. Now, the problem is that when you achieve your goal, so let's say, like, these are the only topics you don't like. You don't like harassment, you don't like age gaps, you don't like all these things. Fine, okay? So they will first remove all of them. But as time goes on, you will notice that these topics just don't come up anymore. But the people who are the censors, they still want to get paid. They still want to make money. They still want to justify their existence. So what they do is that they start censoring other things that initially weren't even a problem. So, for example, I have access to AAA developers, and one of them was telling me that they were making a game that had sand elves, like elves in the desert. And the Chinese censors that his company worked with were like, no, elves don't live in the desert, elves live in the forest, you have to make them in the forest. Now, this doesn't, like what he said, doesn't violate anything that the Chinese government wanted banned. But it was just like him to value his existence, to value his importance, to show that he actually exists. So he made this bizarre decision that's not even ideological, that wouldn't upset anyone, but he made this decision just to justify his paycheck. This is what happens. So what ends up happening eventually is that they ban the stuff that you don't like, and then they are going to ban the stuff that you like. And I think I explained the process. I think I did a great job. Now, sure, you make a video where you're saying that these tropes need to go and are tropes that everyone agrees on the surface, right? Like age gaps bad, harassment bad. All right, like you're doing the Anita Sarkeesian thing. You're doing the thing that like you know that these things are popular to say. You probably don't even care if they get banned or not. Like you just want to make YouTube videos and get clicks. Like, that's fair, but you will be delusional if you think that they will stop at these tropes. That literally just these things are going to get banned. They are, like, once the foot is in the door, and for some reason I want to thank Japan for managing to hold on as long as they did. But once they manage to get their foot in the door, this list of things expands. They start with stuff that is incredibly difficult to disagree with. Like, go on and disagree that anime shouldn't have age gaps. Alright? Like, the moment you disagree with that, you are going to have your reputation ruined. That's what they're banking on. That like, literally, that's the thing they do. Like, for example, in the video game Fortnite, as I discussed earlier, they're now going to add the Holocaust Museum. Now, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. In a video game where people are dressed as Spider-Man and they shoot each other in Battle Royale, you're going to have, like, the Holocaust Museum. But they will say, no, we have the museum because we also have the Martin Luther King Museum, which we added previously. So basically, like, they're trying to justify, well, because we did this small thing in the past, we now can do this large thing in the present. I think both of them are ridiculous. I don't think any museum belongs in Fortnite, of all places. Like, there may be other games where you could do this, but not in Fortnite. Again, a game where Spider-Man runs around shooting he's gone at the alien. It's no. Right? But this is how they justify. They will always say, oh, well, it's okay if we have more censorship because we had some in the past. So this is why you should resist. And it's very difficult to resist because the arguments, again, will make you look ridiculous. It's like, oh, you're defending age gaps. No, I'm not defending age gaps. I'm defending the right of the animator to create whatever the fuck he wants. Just like I defend the right of George R.R. Martin to write whatever he wants. Just like I defend the right of Stephen King to write whatever he wants. But I personally wouldn't recommend those books to other people, knowing what's in them. Is that difficult to understand? Like, is it possible to, like, not like something, but still want it to exist? Like, can you even understand this concept? Is it too difficult? No, probably not. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.